you're not really stuck. It feels like you are. It feels like you've been trying to figure things out, like you've been searching for the right next step, like you're just missing something. But chances are you're not stuck. You're just avoiding the one decision that would actually change things for you. And I know that might sound a bit direct, but stay with me for a minute because once you see this, it changes how you look at everything. If you've been in this space for a while, trying to figure out what's next, this probably sounds familiar to you. Okay, listen. You start thinking about making a change. Maybe it's more income, more control of your time. Maybe it's just feeling that there has to be more than what this now is. So you start exploring. You watch videos, read posts, you look into different ideas, and you tell yourself, I'm just trying to get clear because awareness does matter. But then something subtle happens. You keep going. More information, more thinking, more almost ready. Weeks go by, sometimes months. And if you really step back and look at it honestly, nothing has actually changed. I know this feeling. I've been through it. I identify with it. And this is part of what's really uncomfortable to admit. At some point, figuring it out stops being productive and starts becoming a delay, putting it off. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because it feels safer to stay in that space where you are. It feels like progress without the pressure of committing. You get to stay in motion without actually moving. And most people don't even realize that they've crossed that line. Think about it. Here's the truth: the decision that you're avoiding isn't what's the perfect thing to do. That's what it looks like on the surface. But underneath, the real decision is this: am I actually going to move forward with something or stay where I am? That's really it. It's a simple question, but it's not a light question. It's got weight. Because once you answer that honestly, you can't go back. You can't go back to pretending you're still figuring it out or, putting it off. And this is where it gets real because deciding changes the game. The moment that the decision is made, now there's responsibility. Now there's follow through required. Think about it. Now there's the possibility of actually getting it wrong and potentially wasting time, starting it, but not finishing. And even deeper than that, there's a discomfort of stepping into something unfamiliar. That is huge. That discomfort is important to understand. So instead of deciding, then you keep exploring. Again, not because you don't want to change, but because you're not ready to carry the weight of that decision. It feels overwhelming to you. And if you're in midlife, this might hit even harder because you've spent time building a life that works for you, at least on paper. You have structure, you have responsibilities, you have a certain identity that has been established. You're the reliable one, the responsible one, the one who knows what they're doing after that many years. So, making a decision now to do something different, think about it. It's not just about trying something new, it's about stepping outside of that identity. And that's uncomfortable, even if you know you want more. I've experienced multiple identity shifts in my years, and they are so challenging. I remember one transition specifically when I got into career counseling. There was a point there where my previous identity, it was like lost. I did not know who I was. I was struggling so much. It was such a difficult time. It was like I had to rebuild an identity from scratch. Of course, at that point, I was forced to because health wise, I couldn't continue with the work that I was doing. So I needed to change. And what I'm trying to encourage here is us taking steps while you're working into something new, which is easier. But nonetheless, that identity shift is or can be overwhelming to us. Okay. This is where the real conversation happens. And it doesn't happen out loud, but it happens in your head. It sounds like this. Listen, maybe I should wait a bit longer. Does that sound familiar? I just want to make sure it's the right move. Does that sound familiar? How about this one? What if I pick the wrong thing? I've thought of all of these in my own mind and battled with them. Here's another one. I don't want to waste time. And all of them sound logical. It sounds like I'm trying to be responsible. Sounds like you're trying to be responsible. Make the right decision, do it the right way, the safest way. But underneath, it's hesitation. It was hard for me to come to terms with this for myself, to admit that. It's hesitation, and hesitation keeps you in the same place. So instead of asking, what else do I need to know? Try asking, what decision am I avoiding? Because most of the time, you already know enough to take the step. You ever hear people talk about things like that where they mention everything you need is already in you in a sense? I think our bodies are designed to figure it out as we go. So we usually tend to have what's required to take a step. And then we develop and grow and build into taking those next steps. So you already know enough to take that step. You're not just choosing. And that's the shift. Not more clarity, not more information, but a decision. And here's the part that matters most. Not deciding is still a decision. It's the decision to stay where you are. See that? The decision to keep thinking, the decision to keep waiting, the decision to keep circling, going around and around. And time doesn't pause while we do that. It doesn't. It keeps moving. Time keeps moving. All of a sudden, it's April, then May, then June, then July, then the year's gone by, and we're not where we wanted to be. Whether you move or not, time keeps moving. There's a moment where this changes. Listen, it's not loud and it's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's internal. It's when you stop saying, I'm still figuring it out. And instead, you say, I'm choosing this, right? Even if it's imperfect, even if you're not 100% sure, even if it feels uncomfortable, that moment, that moment right there, that's where everything starts to shift. It is the moment where everything starts to shift. Now, if this hit you, don't go back to just thinking about it. Watch the next video on screen. This is where I show you how to actually start, even if things still feel unclear. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do that because everything here is about helping you move, not just think. And I'll see you in the next video.